October 29th, 11:30 a.m., Monday morning. Kind of interesting skies this morning. Really calm. We haven't had calm weather in a long time. So I just got done unrolling a wrapped balage hay bale. This is actually from that field across the, probably can't see the creek, but there's a little creek across the creek. There's a little under 7 acres. It was first crop, got rained on, which I think all first crop probably got rained on this year, unless you had your first crop in mid-July or something. It was on the end, and it was exposed because I had other bales I'd taken from that line. And it must have been there for a week or 10 days, and it already had a little molding to it, but you can see there is a ton of clover. And they love it, and it's good feed. That calf's eating a ton of it. And then what they don't eat, all the clover seeds, will be seeds next year for what this hopes to be a pasture. Just plant it next spring, but supplement with this with the corn stalks. They did a really good job eating this down, and you probably can't see it in the camera, but here's my fence line. I don't know if you can see that. And then this will be, I'm going to unroll this. Actually, I should say roll this up, and this will be their next place they eat, and then put this line in the opposite one of that one. Anyway, I'm going to do that right after this because I want to see if they'll go in between eating hay and the corn stalks, which I think they'll kind of fill themselves up here in hay and then keep eating the corn fodder and everything. But works out well. I even gave the core, you always have a little core when you unroll left. I gave that to the 3 corny hennies on the other side. They love it. They've got good green grass and they come eat that balage. I'm telling you, I love that unroller. I studied up on them, and in this part of the country you just don't see them, so I didn't know much about them. I knew someone up north that had it, and then good old YouTube, get on there and saw the kind to get, I think, and even got to match the old 1560. Though she's little, she is fierce. I love that tractor in here with the first time with the front wheel assist, and it's a little spongy in here, but the corn stalks help the traction. But anything heavier, and then I'm going to be packing this down, packing my pasture, because I got to go through my pasture up until a little road there by those trees. And, it's almost like a skid steer in a tractor form. The thing's really versatile. It can pick up more than you think. These bales have to weigh at times with all the moisture 1,800 pounds. That's not, dry matter, but that is with all the moisture. And it picks it up. It might be a little tough in the snow because the tractor is pretty short. I did have a little trouble, but if the snow's that high, they probably don't want to go out in it much. And then I'll feed them in a dry lot. But I love this option, this unrolling. It's way better than trying to stick feeders out here, and they're going to push the feeders around this mud, and then they're going to fight around it. Got, like I said, 18 head here, including the 6 calves. And they even fight a little bit on this line, on this unrolled line, and they sort it out though. They can just move away. But yes, unroller, love it. Wasn't so sure when I got it. I actually experimented by using the forks there in the front and pushing it in the winter. It would unroll, but it wasn't very pretty. It wasn't straight. But after doing it several times with the cattle, I just was convinced it was worth investing in a good unroller. And I'm guessing the way that unroller is built and everything, it should last quite a while. The only issue I have is the little wheels that the bale sticks to get full of hay, and so that left side, I think this first time it quit rolling, so I always gotta pull the hay out of there. But the nice thing too with this hay is it was a little on the mature side, so I think we planted tall fescue and was it orchard grass? So I saw some seeds and all that too. So that'll be good. I mean, you know what? If the seeds are going to come out, they might as well come out in the field you want to plant. So they'll eat this down, and yeah, they step on it and they lay on it, but they still do a really good job of cleaning it up. And what they don't eat, that'll be fertilizer. I guess the only slight concern I have is if they would leave a lot of hay and it's packed down, are we going to till that up so we can get the seeds through the seed bed? And the way they're eating it, I'm sure we won't have a problem. It's great to unroll in a spot where you really have problems with fertilization, where you need to really get an area from manure and stuff. You just unroll it right there and you'll see usually when you're done, there'll just be a trail of manure and a little bit of packed hay, but not much. It's almost like a manure spreader went through. Just not spread as fine, that's for sure, but you can go a big bale. See, the distance here between these two fences is roughly 700 feet. And it went almost, probably went at least 500 feet. I pick it up a lot and drop it so it's not all concentrated in one spot. Like here, you can see it skipped it. That does seem to help from them kind of piling on in one spot and stamping it down, then moving on. The thinner the better is what I try to do. And it actually turned out well. But yeah, you can see, hey girl, you can see some seeds here. Whatever this is, wish I knew. I don't. So what they don't eat or whatever they poop through, lots of clover. I like clover a lot for pastures. It adds nitrogen. They love it. It comes back usually pretty well. And the hay field's a little tougher because it's really hard to dry down. But I don't know why we didn't plant it, but it was covered. That 7 acres was covered in clover this year. It was fine though. With all the rain, we had to wrap it anyway, so it worked out. And it seems like they do, like they're kind of seek out that clover. But yeah, a little bit moldy and not bad, but a little surprised. I don't know if that bale got too dried out being on the end, sitting there like that. It didn't get too warm, but I don't know, we probably got to 60 one day. And so maybe that was some of it. Usually you don't see that little bit of mold like that. So it also, like I said, got rained on twice. And for getting rained on twice, I think in wrapping it, they sure like it, as opposed to not wrapping it and just having expensive bedding that doesn't bed very well. So yeah, I'm gonna move these, see what happens here after I reel this up. It'll be nice because now I'll kind of get on the flat part here. It'll be a bit more dry, although it's not bad. That wind yesterday really helped. The sun, the wind helped dry this out. You can almost see a line here where they've been between the fence, so they've kind of been all through here and picked through it. They do a really good job. The skies are interesting. Almost looks like rain, but I didn't think it was supposed to. So yeah, happy cattle options. It's a nice little thing for them. Hopefully the weather stays good so they can stay out here on this 20 acres as long as possible. And even with that, then I've got a little pasture for them to go to after this. Let them eat that, and then I'll try, as long as the weather will let me, I'll keep unrolling. I'm sure there's going to be for sure, no matter what, like March, April, where they just have to be in a dry lot because it gets so wet and they're going to destroy everything. And they don't really like being out in it anyway. I've had it where you can open the big door to the pastures, but 99% of the time they're still inside, either laying down on the bedding pack, because I'll bed it so often, every couple of days or whatever, put dry bedding, and then just keep building up so that you have a nice kind of compost started. And then I'll have a bale or two round bale feeders and some cement, and they hardly ever go out because there's really nothing out there that's muddy. So I usually, when it gets real bad, I'll just shut the door. They're content. So yeah, corn stalks and unrolling bale.